Hi friends, welcome to episode 286 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I am Weston Pugh, and today's show we've got a really great house that is an amazing price, an amazing side of town, and it's 3773 Park Lane.
And in the second segment today, it's going to be I declare. That's my grandmother's the way she would say that. We're going to talk about declaration pages on homeowners insurance.
Well, you sure did kick that off, didn't you? I thought we were going to save that for a little bit later, but you went right into it.
I went right in for it. You'll get it later too.
Hold on, people. This is going to be a real one. All right, so the heat is coming to an end, which means that brunch season is about to hit full swing. And this is a brunch season because people love themselves some patios. So that we thought we'd take you down a tour of some of our favorite little bistros for brunch.
And the first one is the Barcelona Wine Bar, and I have been to this for brunch, probably half a dozen times with different groups of friends, and it is a really funky place. Feels very European.
Yeah.
Their tapas is amazing. Just like order everything you can, and then just share all of it, because there's some of it that you really just want a little bite of it, but. They have a very extensive wine menu. There's a Pinot Noir that if you tell your server that you want Grandpa's Cellar, they'll know which one it is.
And you liked it?
I liked it. Yeah, it was a great wine. We had a very funky server that day, and she had this really great personality. And Kavita and I were there, and Kavita was asking her about wine, and she was like, "Well, here's this one that's Grandpa's Cellar," and anyway, it's not the name of it, but the name stuck.
That's so funny. I now want to know what Grandpa's Cellar really is. So that's a great one. It's a little bit newer, but there's also a really nice one around the corner from here, and it is called the Old Monk. And many people think of the Old Monk as a place to go to watch sports games, but did you know they have some of the best bar food in town?
See, I didn't know that. I've never been into the Old Monk.
Hands down.
I'll go.
It is, and it has a really great shaded patio that is excellent. They have more beers than you know what to do with, so it is a really nice, easy, laid-back place to hang out.
You need to do Beer Wednesday there if they've got that many beer.
You should.
Okay.
It is off. It is a substantial number of beers. You probably need to double check and let them know because there's so many of y'all.
Yeah.
That'd be good. All right. Also, what's around the corner from here, Jeff?
Restoration Hardware Restaurant. This is on the top of Restoration Hardware. It is. You may want to make reservations if it's going to be a busy weekend or a holiday weekend. We have walked in before and just been able to be seated. The really interesting thing is there is nowhere else in Dallas that you can dine like this.
It's
the
perfect.
views are incredible from up there.
And what's very interesting is they do not have a bar up there. So as Jeff said earlier as we were reviewing all the slides, if you want to imbibe, you must be dining.
That's right.
They are not going to allow that. One of the great things about all three of these are that they are in highly walkable areas. So you really can do some Sunday fun day shopping as well.
Yeah, Apple Store right down the street. You can go down and get that new iPhone 16.
Go get that new 16.
Get that new watch.
Let us know what your favorite little brunch spot is, and we'll be happy to talk about it maybe on next week's show.
So let's jump over into Market Watch. Market Watch is our vision of what's going on over the last 7 days in Dallas County. We compare week over week. And this week, the only thing that was down is the coming soon listings, which were down about 17%. There were still 77 coming soon listings in last week. Coming soon's a status in MLS that agents can choose to use. If you do any kind of public marketing, you're supposed to put it in as a coming soon, but there can't be any showings during coming soon. And then they go into new active. So new active listings were up 1%. There were 583 new listings that were active last week in Dallas County, or came active in Dallas County. And the option period is the first status a contract goes into. It is where the buyer gets to do inspections and they negotiate repairs and just really come to terms, almost final terms for the contract.
So once all the terms have been agreed upon during that option period, quickly thereafter it moves into the pending status. Now, pending status is generally up 20% this time of the month, and we see that is perfectly in track. We will see this correspond to a higher sold number next week as well. Currently, we already are seeing an uptick in the solds, up 5%. And rates are the big chatter right now. You've probably seen them on all of the talk shows. You've seen them in the news everywhere, and they are actually at 6.133. And this is actually down 0.07. I believe this is where we're going to hover, probably until the next rate decrease. If we get one, it probably is going to be around the election. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. You'll notice that rates will drop one more time prior to that happening, as we see all the banks begin to bake that into their rates. That information is given to us by Optimal Blue. It's a great website. Check it out and let us know. One of the great things is we can also do this kind of information for you on any neighborhood you're interested in, whether it's a zip code, a school district, something you're interested in investing in. Let us know. We can create that quick portal link and send it right over.
So let's jump into our house this week. This is at 3773 Park Lane, 75220 zip code. Great location, absolutely wonderful location. It is super convenient. You are just really a block off of Marsh Lane, which is one of those wonderful Dallas north-south streets that take you all the way from Carrollton to, Carrollton to East. Wow, way out there.
East way out there.
Yeah.
Actually look that up on Google. Let us know where that it takes you.
You also have some really good east-west streets with Walnut Hill, Royal Lane. I love this location.
It's really close to your house.
It is.
This is an easy way to get into downtown as well, jumping on either 75, the toll road. This will get you straight into that. Take the back roads, cross over on Hampton. That will take you into uptown as well. A lot of people will prefer to be on this side of Dallas versus the east side of 75 if they're going to have to be in Irving or into Arlington. Again, if we're looking for like larger commuting, you can see DFW and also Love Field are extremely close, making your travel plans that much easier. Great thing about it, I forget about this every time I talk about it, it is a blessing that Love and DFW are so close, but what's another thing is how many direct flights out we have.
Absolutely.
Austin is shocking how many times you have to stop because they're not a hub.
Yeah.
And we have both Southwest and American. So some of the things that we like to talk about before we jump into the property is to also tell you about what locals in this area either are attracted to, want to live by, or go and do. And one of the first things we want to talk about is UT Southwestern's Medical Center. Did you know that that is actually one of the most prized winning Nobels, with 6 winners on faculty since 1985? Wonderful caring facility. They also have right now partnered up with DISD, and this is their biomolecular practical learning program that they have currently with DSD. Just a really great care, both in the community and for the community.
And UT Southwestern is a great hospital. They a lot of their doctors train with patients at Parkland. They're it's just if I were to have to go to the hospital, that's where I'd want to go.
100%.
That was the hospital that took care of Adrian when he was ill.
And a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So check it out. It's great to live there closer if you're working in whatever format they have. Also, people oftentimes that live in this area, and we're going to talk about zip codes, service to 75229, 75230, and 75225. We want to talk about gyms, because a lot of times people, and I don't mean like the restaurant, I'm talking about where you can go work out. This is a great number of gyms. And a lot of times people get like, well, where is it? If you're LA Fitness, John Reed, or even Anytime Fitness, these are great places. But there's a lot of training gyms. You go to a training gym, it's a little bit further away, but Dallas has lots of training gyms.
They really do. And one of the really great gyms in this neighborhood is the Fitness Connection. A lot of the community around there goes to it, and I've really heard nothing but good things about it, because it was opened in what is an old grocery store space, and so you don't feel like everybody's standing right there on top of you. And that parking lot is packed all the time. And that'd be a 5-minute drive from here.
It's also one of the newest gyms in the area.
That's true. That is very true. One of the other things that we wanted to talk about was the Central Common Dog Park, and this is just south of there by a couple of miles. This is an off-leash dog park that's private, and they've got a little coffee shop there. It is the former Central Christian Church, and they don't have services there anymore, but they're using much of the building for small commercial businesses. And then they've got this coffee bar and then the dog park, and it's absolutely amazing.
What's interesting to me is that when I Googled this to find the information, this is a small, almost unknown dog park. It has 199 reviews on Google at 4.6. So I was like, all right, the people that are there love it. So get connected, go check this out. It's a great time for you and your four-legged friend to get out and socialize.
So let's talk about our house.
Do it.
So this is, again, 3773 Park Lane. This is a really cute little 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage, just under 1,300 square feet, and it is priced at $649,000. Absolutely phenomenal drive-up appeal.
Move in ready. This house has everything from the landscaping on the front, which is the curb appeal we often talk about with our sellers, all the way up to the front door. It is actually tiled on that porch, making it a great place to really enjoy. And this is a really slow down, enjoy, get to know your neighborhood and your neighbors.
Good front porch for meeting the neighbors that way. You'll be really surprised when we get to the back of it too.
Yeah.
But as you begin to go through the house, it is really just done so nicely.
So this is coming in the front door, and you can see right here, it's easy living. This doesn't require tons of furniture because it's so simply laid out. Living room right here transitions into a dining room. Everything is perfectly simple. One of the great things about this is in 2022, they replaced the windows with double pane argon gas thermal. That in itself is a huge saver.
They've done a lot of things to this house. There's extra insulation that was added in the exterior walls and in the attic. They have done French drains around the house. They've added attic ventilation to the soffits around the whole house. Gas tankless hot water system. It's a lot.
They got it done. So not only is this house move-in ready and cute, but it's also had what we like to call a lot of the heavy lifting done. So it's easy to come in, set your dishes up just as they are in that, look out the window over the sink, enjoy a gas oven with a microwave built in above. Easily it transitions into this wonderful little breakfast nook. One of the things that I love about this breakfast nook is it actually opens up and has views of this backyard, and we're going to get to that backyard in a little bit, but you can see how simple it is to live here. I like that this space, we're still under 1,300 square feet, and we still have 2 dining areas, and it has to be smart in order for this to happen, and I think this house has that in spades.
I agree. Wood floors throughout, which I'm pretty sure they're at least half of them are the original. I think these were added at a later date because of one of the transitions that I saw, but they're beautiful. They're done beautifully all the way through. And so this is the master bedroom, and it's a really good sized master bedroom. As you can see, it's got nightstands on each side of the bed. There's the little settee, I'm not quite sure what to call that, but there's plenty of room in that. Even being one of the older homes, it's got great closet storage. The blinds are all motorized in this room, and I would guess those are probably blackout.
I would agree. That is a great room right here. This is, I believe, at the front of the house. And there is yet one more bedroom here. This bedroom has really good storage as well. He's using this actually as his office. What I liked about this is the way that's positioned. It's super easy to locate furniture, and you have a really great view because we're about to take a look at that backyard. It is a lot to enjoy.
So this is a 20 by 20 covered space that you can enjoy pretty much any time of the year.
Yeah, they've got the TV set up outside, ceiling fans as well, gutter systems around that also do their job. This also transitions into a flagstone pathway into a flagpole dining with cafe lights that give you another view of the backyard, which is just as good as the covered porch. But again, this is a lot of flexible space, and as you can see here, there is enough grass for as many pets as the city will allow.
It is a really, really large backyard, probably one of the larger backyards for that neighborhood because of the way the lot is positioned.
I also like the fact that you didn't have 4 neighbors looking directly in the backyard.
So this is 3773 Park Lane. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage, built in 1950. It's a little under 1,300 square feet, priced at $649,500. And that comes in at $501.47 a square foot.
And we'd like to say thank you so much to Chris Hickman for allowing us to feature this home. We're going to provide a link to this home in the comments below. Click on it, look through the pictures that we didn't use, share it with your friends, family, and coworkers. And if you would like to see it, please let us know, and we'd love to make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 286 of Sold with Updike Pew. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and I typically announce the second segment, but
No, you don't.
I do too announce the second segment. But because you have such a family connection to the way this title was written, I thought I'd let you go ahead and introduce this second segment.
So the second segment is, well, I declare, which is the way my grandmother used to say that. It was an old country saying, but I thought since we were talking pages, segue.
That works. All right, declaration page.
We're actually going to put the declaration page up on the screen, and this is a really, really important document in not just when you buy your home, but every time that your insurance renews annually, all of those highlighted parts of it, and just explain what each of those is. We want to get your declaration page out and kind of go through coverage you have. We're not insurance people, but we do know what this is. We owners, and we deal with it on a regular basis. So let's just start at the top.
The first one is going to be comment number 1.
Exactly.
Or over being
Coverages applicable to different types. We're going to go through each one separately. It's going to list the limits, what the premium for the cost of that is, and then we'll talk about deductibles as we go on to each one of the
coverage A. Specifically to dwelling the premium, so you can pearl and this a lot. This is one of those things you have to ask, and if your policy just renews automatically and was started 20 years ago, the amount of that coverage might not in the guidelines. And
Texas and hail coverage. And a different company, and we were able to still get a 2% deductible on it. But many companies are, in many cases, wanting the premiums going up so much, they're kind of forcing people into a 5% deductible.
that is a game changer, and we could talk about it later on another episode, but that is a huge thing on the horizon.
The second thing in that area is going to be the fire protection, and that is, it's fire and all other fire and other coverages or fire and other events. And many times that fire deductible is only going to be a fixed amount, like a $5,000 or something like that. It's not your normal, or not the other deductible that you would have on your wind and hailstorm. But you'll see out to the side what the premium cost on each of those is. This house, for example, is covered up to $200,000. That probably, this is probably an older document. So I doubt that if you have $200,000 in coverage, you might want to talk to somebody about that.
Oh, 100%. Coverage C talks about personal property protection, and I have a lot of experience with this. Check in with your provider today. Find out what their requirements are in order for this to be executed. When I had mine, State Farm required a photo, actual what the original price was, what it currently was worth, and then also a website where it was actually found. That is a lot of information that they're asking for these days. Had I not have had the house photographed prior to that, I don't know how I would have claimed this.
Yeah.
This is also one of those things that as you increase the amount of items that you and your family have.
There's no coverage of it, but again, that's going to make your premium go up a little bit higher on the policy. We skipped over coverage B, and I think that we need to just talk about that. Coverage B is the other structures protection, and see how that's $20,000 in coverage. The standard is that this is about 10% of what your whole house coverage is, and this is going to cover your fence. It's going to cover your separate garage if it's detached. It's going to cover any of your storage buildings outside. Your gutters also fall into this. So make sure that that's enough for what you feel you need to be covered for.
Would that also, is a detached garage included with the primary, or is this added in coverage B?
It's coverage B if it's a detached garage.
Interesting. That is a really good piece of information, because some people we've recently worked with have very extensive detached garages.
Yeah. So moving on to coverage D, this is loss of use. And what loss of use is if your house is damaged so badly by fire or windstorm or whatever that you can't live there, your insurance policy can reimburse you up to a certain amount for the cost of you living somewhere else. If it's living in an Airbnb, if it's living in a hotel, maybe when the tornadoes came through in 2019, some of those people were displaced for a year. So they went and rented another house.
And they will actually make you apply for this every quarter. It's coverage and you need it, but man, they sure do act like is like a gift when they give it to you.
I would agree. Moving on. So this is the additional coverages. Now this is where all of those extra things like the sewer backup, or if you've got some jewelry, there's a jewelry limitation in the general policy, and then you can add more coverage in it. This is also where if your electronics exceed a certain dollar amount, you may want to get some additional electronics coverage. You may want to add on some art coverage, because there are limits in your policy to what those things are.
I would also touch bases with your provider and double check what information they need to have on hand for this to be covered, because you may actually have to have an art appraiser or an appraiser for your jewelry in order to get the certain limits that you're looking for. You can't just take a stone that's clear and say it's a $20,000 diamond.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those times where you want to take your iPhone and go through and video everything, and video
100%.
the certificates of authenticity.
Yep.
Section E jumps into the liability portion, and this is the part that if somebody falls on your sidewalk, that type of thing, or your tree, a branch of your tree falls and hits one of your guests, there is a limit to what your coverage is there. It's standard is about $300,000 per occurrence. You can get those increased very reasonably, especially if you consider going to what's called an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy really ties all of your different policies together, And in most instances, the minimum coverage on those is $1 million.
Yep.
So in order, if you do get if you did go the umbrella policy route, this would be $1 million, but it would not be 3 times the cost of that, what you see in the premium there.
Ever since the fire, everything that I do is umbrella. I roll everything into it. You get a better discount, and you get better coverages.
And Coverage F is guest medical coverage, and this is really if somebody gets hurt on your property, if some other occurrence happens, there's usually about $5,000 that they'll pay out for those types of things. You can get extra coverage if you want, but you may or may not have to.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want that.
Discounts, you may receive discounts for being a multi-policy holder, a claim-free holder, having the alarm system, having like class 4 metal roof. This is where all those discounts come in. And here is I was talking about the computer electronics a while ago. This is where the other forms and endorsements could come in. And it's if you buy that extra computer coverage or you buy that extra art coverage, this is where those would be listed on it.
It's funny because those discounts and whatnot for like having like your home and your car bundled together, I don't think in Texas that works that way anymore. I think now they don't write it if they don't get your car.
Yes, that is happening.
Yeah, so lots is changing in the insurance world today.
And if you have a mortgage on the home, the insurance policy is always going to have the mortgage company as an additional insured. And what that means is that if a claim happens and let's say half your house burns down, your mortgage company is still on the hook, or you're still on the hook for the mortgage, and the insurance company, actually the mortgage company requires that they also be a payee on that to make sure that you are spending that money putting their secured property back together.
It was very interesting, that little bit of information right there. When the payoff came from the insurance company, it was made out to myself and the mortgage company. And the mortgage company's like, send it over. And I was like, we're going to have a conversation first, verifying everything was going to be paid for. But they wanted that check fast. And I was like, let's slow down just a minute.
So that's the declarations policy. Any questions?
No, I'm good on that.
Okay.
You know, this is so, though, it's like, but the deal is, it needs to be looked at every year.
I agree.
Because when you need it, it's usually at one of the most stressful points in your life. And it is also when the most amount has gone wrong. And if you haven't done your due diligence, when your mind is clear and set, it can be really painful later on.
It can be. So hopefully you found this helpful. If there's anything that we didn't quite make clear enough, reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you. If you want to, call us and go over what your policy says now, we're happy to do that. Again, we're not insurance agents, but we do have an understanding of how this works, not just because of what we do in the business, but because, we've each gone through claims where it's not
that
always
we didn't
fun.
want to.
Yeah, not always fun.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.